Yo, hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Tell me about Maggie. Tell me about Maggie and about Dave.
Being on the show, Maggie was, a real treat to suddenly be on a show that is so lighthearted, with the intention of just like having the viewers kind of take away hope and love, really, the search for love. And then my character Dave is essentially, I play the foil to Maggie. I am with my lovely wife Amy, and we have this very kind of in the moment kind of a relationship. Everything is about taking things for now. And then you have the Rebecca Rittenhouse's character Maggie, who is all about the future, who can never actually really live in the present. And so I am I play like this kind of fun-loving, happy-go-lucky Aussie guy. Yeah, and it's like a fun show.
I was gonna say maybe a bit of a bro.
Bit of a bro.
Are you broing down?
There is a little bit of a bro aspect to him, only in that he's just up for fun and up for a good time. But I guess you could call him like a little bit of an Aussie bro. But yeah.
On the show, I think it's said that you're Australian. You get to speak with your accent of Korean origin. How lucky is it that they managed to find an Australian American actor of Korean origin to play that?
Well, I do have to say that I think they wrote that kind of cultural aspect into the show after I boarded the project. But I loved how they did that. Like Justin Adler, the creator, and Maggie Mull, the creator, and the EP and director Natalia Anderson. From the get-go, when we were discussing about the project, that was something that we're very interested in exploring. And yeah, it's really wonderful to be part of a project where people are open to kind of molding something around the actor, and then also being open to exploring something new that they themselves may not have known about from the beginning, but are along for the ride. And so I really appreciated that that sentiment.
Given permission to riff as well too, you were saying. So how does that feel, that this is a sitcom hybrid, that you're really given the freedom, and I can see that in the show. So, what were some of the moments where you were allowed to kind of do your own thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great. It was kind of, even from the pilot, they were kind of, hey, it's fine for you to riff, to ad lib, right? And I was, when we first were discussing coming on board with the project, I wanted to make very clear that, hey, are you guys very specific about the script? Because each project has its own kind of heartbeat, and you want to respect the work, you want to respect everyone's effort. It's not just a one-person show. And so, coming from a show like Westworld, where everything, like even down to the comma, down to the full stop, people are like on you about that, and there's discussion about it. I wanted to make sure that on with this project that I was honoring that, and they were like, no, go ahead, jump right in, let's do a version first of that's scripted, but then we can riff. And so I ran with that, like I don't know if they they had that conversation with every actor on the show. So especially at the beginning, it was a little bit like, oh, what am I doing? Like, what's he doing? And so I think that you did catch glimpses of elements of surprise that people are kind of looking at, like what's happening. But yeah, they kind of like embraced me to do that. And so as the show goes along, there are moments that as an actor you think, as a contributor of the show, you think, oh, hey, are you guys open to this? Or, here's an idea that I have. And like I said, each project has its own heartbeat, and they were super welcoming of that. So it was super refreshing to be part of that.
A very fun group of actors. Had you known anybody before?
I mean, I'd known of their work. Yeah, definitely known of their work, but I didn't know them personally, or had not worked with them before. So yeah, so it was exciting, you know, and like we shot this during COVID, right? Well, still are going through COVID, but the kind of beginning stages of COVID. And so this really is a little bit like a COVID baby in the world. And we, it was a strange, but kind of an experience that kind of helped us a lot. Usually when you go on you do on a project that you film in LA, everyone kind of goes to work and then goes off and does their own thing, right? Because it's the hometown that most people live in. And we did film this in LA, as opposed to when you go away on location for a shoot where everyone kind of has to kind of huddle together because no one's of that area. And so during COVID, the set itself was broken up into different zones. And so as an actor, you were in a certain zone. And so you couldn't really, hang out or, you know, in between takes, talk to anybody else. And like usually on a set, you talk to, you know, the camera department, you talk to the set department, you talk to catering, you talk to everyone. But this kind of, you were relegated only to the people that were of the same zone. And rightly so, you know, Disney and Fox, they, like everyone did, was trying to do their best. And so I just appreciated being able to work safely for everyone. But it was a different experience, I've got to say. And like, I think also because of that, the cast became closer a little sooner than you would on other projects. And hey, that was great for me.
Yeah. The show is about, you know, having psychic visions. Have you ever known anyone like that? Have you ever known anyone that has sort of visions of the future? My cousins would sometimes talk about that, and my sister would be like, oh, I just had this dream that this is going to happen, but none of that came through. You know what I mean? But in the moment you think, oh wow, like it's such conviction, you know. That's a good way to have visions, that they don't necessarily come true. And you say, oh well, maybe my reading wasn't exactly clear. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I considered a version of the future. That's like a vision. It's like a vision, exactly. Yeah, but no, I never really experienced anyone that like really had psychic visions like that. And what do you think? I mean, you've dipped your toe many times into the sort of the sci-fi world. Yeah, I think it's true. I think people definitely do have it. I feel like that is something that people, some people can tap into stuff like that, you know, whether they're able to say, oh, you know, you're going to meet, you know, this specific person by name. I don't know about that, but in regards to something that maybe is going to happen, you know, that you need to be aware of or what have you. Yeah, I think why not? Yeah. So the name of the show is Maggie, and the creator of the show is Maggie too. Yeah. Maggie Mull. Do you think maybe she based it on her own reality? You know, what I do know is that the show is based on a short film that Tim Caruso created, and that short film was based on his actual life experience of being related to a psychic. And so that's kind of how the idea and concept of Maggie started as a short, told from an authentic place from Tim's point of view, and then it evolved into a show. Oh, okay. I was just thinking that, you know, the coincidence maybe of the two names, because you don't see the name too often either. You don't see that many Maggies around. And she's hilarious. I mean, Maggie Mull, it's so funny. Like every time her episodes would come around, you'd be thrilled because she's such a wonderful writer. Yeah, and you see her father too in it in a later episode. Yeah. And you got to work with Angelique, who I just interviewed, I think, for Undone, for her Amazon series, which is a completely different show, a completely different realm. What did you enjoy about working with her?
I love working with her, and like that she's a well-seasoned comedy actor, and you know, really understanding that kind of how the mechanics of a comedy work. Was great to be part and to work with someone that kind of had that experience. And you know, like everyone in the cast was so fun to work with, you know, and like we would laugh so many times on set, and that's like a real gift, you know, because you never know what a set's going to be like. Yeah.
Do you consider yourself to be a comic actor? You've been in some really funny projects. And you know, even like a Room 104, for example, is a, you know, it's kind of a again, like a hybrid show, kind of serious, but it's still very funny in places too. Your episode in particular was, I don't know, it was funny and it was dramatic at the same time. You've been in some other things where you've had a chance to riff. So, you know, what do you think? I mean, you know, people might recognize you primarily from Westworld and think, boy, but this guy is, you know, this guy is really funny.
Oh, thanks. I got my first kind of break in Hollywood being in the movie The Perfect Score. And so that was a comedy, you know, with Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, you know, that, and being the ensemble lead in that project really opened up my door, the door to Hollywood for me. And comedy is something that I really enjoyed doing. The film career started to kind of go more into the dramatic. And I was, you know, all for that. I'm very grateful for being able to play all those projects. But then my first kind of return was I was in a Netflix movie called Happy Anniversary.
Happy Anniversary, yes, because it takes place on their anniversary. Yes,
and that film, they really let me riff, like, and I played with Kate Berlant, and she's so funny, and it was just such a fun experience to just riff and be as wild and free, and that was such a fun experience. And you know, kind of being on this show as well kind of reminded me of what it was like again to be on a comedy set like that, and I love it. I think it's so funny, so enjoyable.
What do you think with your show, because it has all the beats, you know, there's no laugh track for it, but it still feels like a sitcom, or like the perfect show for streaming?
Yeah, it is. I think it is a wonderful show for streaming, and you know that you know, it has all the lighthearted elements, and then it can also go rather deep. And the idea that you can kind of binge together these episodes is great for the viewer, I think. There is no laugh track, and to be frank, like I wasn't sure how people were going to react to it. I appreciate the fact that, you know, they're doing something here, trying to be new to the comedy game, and so I think I hope people really embrace it.
Yeah. I mean, so many shows now. We are in peak TV, right? But so many of them are very, very serious or very emotionally gripping. So to be able to find a show that's not in any way pandering, but still, you know, lighthearted, funny, that sort of thing, it's a relief. It's really refreshing to find a show like this.
That's what I think, you know, and I really hope that people, you know, take to the show in that way, and really realize how hopeful the show, I hope that people feel afterwards. You know, everyone's journey of love is different, but the one thing that's universal is that everyone craves it, everyone needs it, everyone wants it. And so not only like the meant to be, you know, person of your life, the one partner, but I hope that people also take away to be grateful and hopeful about their friendships, about their neighbors, about new people in their family. And so yeah, that's what I really hope people get out of, you know, watching this show, because I think that's the intention that was really set by it.
So when you're envisioning sort of your path, your career path, you said that maybe you wouldn't want to be a psych, you wouldn't want to have to see the future, but you've been in some really interesting projects. And, I've touched on a few, Phobias as well, really enjoyed that film and your performance in it. What do you look for? When you're coming into Maggie, how do you sort of envision your career path? What are you looking to do?
Thank you. So I feel like, I love the idea that as an actor, you get to transform, and you get to transform not only yourself physically, but you also are able to be teleported and transformed into a new world. So I love the concept of new worlds and new experiences to be transformed into. So I always look for, first of all, in any project, something that I know I can see the humanity behind the character. And, ideally you want to be playing a character that is, that has the human experience. That's what I want to be telling. And that's coupled with, a great and a brilliant filmmaker or TV maker. That's the ideal situation. I just love bouncing around and really being able to play all these different kinds of characters in these different kinds of worlds. I don't have a favorite, so to speak, but I think there are wonderful things in each kind of genre or each kind of project that I can really speak so highly about. I love that in this comedy of Maggie that we're able to kind of play into the lighthearted, sweet aspect of life and the comedic elements that everyone experiences in the day-to-day experience, in the day-to-day life of trying to be themselves, trying to find themselves. And I love that, in something, a show like Westworld, in a sci-fi world, I'm able to explore themes that wouldn't necessarily be able to be told so frankly in a different kind of genre. And we're able to explore things about humanity in a sci-fi world. Mm-hmm. So I like playing, within that. And then like you have Phobias, which is more like a horror genre movie. And, I love also it was exciting to play the shock element of that and the shock and horror of that. It was fun. And ultimately right now, what I'm looking for is, again, in the evolution and transformation of me as a person, as an actor. Now I'm also a father. I am married, and so there was a project I did called Marvelous in the Black Hole. Recently, it was a Sundance film, and Tribeca as well. And I played a father of a 13-year-old that was going through angst, and I had just lost a wife, and so kind of dealing with grief and with comedic elements too. And so I think each and every project has its own thing. What I'm looking for ultimately is whether I see humanity and be able to transform into that. And ultimately, what I would hope to see right now is more projects that are aligning with being able to play the lead, to tell stories like that. And I hope that they're coming.
Definitely. I'm going to check out your movie for sure too. Definitely creator driven and female creator driven, Lisa Joy and Maggie Mull. So how important is that to you?
Yeah, I love being able to be surrounded by people that are ambitious and that are creative. And I feel like to be someone that is other than a white male in this industry, they have had to find their own community also to get a seat at the table. And I feel like things are shifting now, where now people are hosting their own table. And to me, to be with and to work with collaborators that that are appreciative of that, it means everything. So in my career, I've always been aware that people that have helped me, you don't get anywhere alone in this world, that really have helped me along the way have been women and creators like that. People like Deborah Martin Chase, who was the producer of Sisterhood Traveling Pants, when she cast me in that, when people didn't see the role of Brian McBride as me, but she believed in me. Then you have people like Charlotte Sumter, Brigitte, who cast me in and supported me in The Perfect Score, the first project I did. You know, kind of from the get-go, I've always had the wonderful blessing of having female creators and female producers on my side, and just knowing that, you know, I am not that typical blonde hair, blue-eyed guy, but knowing that there is space and room for many faces, and to also believe in the talent and my abilities to do that, I am so forever grateful.
Well said. Yeah. So maybe with kids too, maybe something upcoming that is, you know, 4-quadrant driven. That
speaking like someone in the industry,
yes.
4-quadrant, yes, that would be fantastic. You know, ultimately, you know, I got a little glimpse of that by being in Yes Day. I had like a little moment in that, a little cameo, and working with Jennifer Garner was so fun. Yeah, I hope so. You know, I am definitely open to it. I remember I had kids as I started Westworld, and I remember thinking, wow, there is nothing I have done that I can sit down and go, hey, let's watch this together, you know, until they're at least, you know, 16 or something. And so, yeah, hopefully things are going to open up, and I'll be able to play something 4-quadrant as a lead.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic. I mean, they need to, after this, resurrect Jurassic Park with me as a lead. That'd be great.
Oh, I would love to see that. So what have you been watching?
I've been watching Severance. I'm still in the process of watching that, which is a fantastic show. And I love the idea that, you know, Ben Stiller is transforming into this, you know, prolific filmmaker. So yeah, I've been watching that. I've been watching the January 6 hearings. That's unfortunate.
Yes. Dystopian sci-fi.
Yeah, dystopian sci-fi. That's what it feels like. And I have been watching Pachinko as well. That's great.
Yeah,
Life and Death.
Right. Pachinko's a great show, by the way.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. Leo, it's been such a pleasure. Again, I'm so honored to get to speak with you. I really enjoy it. I hope you enjoy Laurel Canyon.
I will.
Gorgeous out the window in your move.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The best to you, of course, with your career, everything that you've been up to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll see you again soon.